major red flags are being raised over Donald Trump's hospital visit on Friday to Walter Reed. At first, Donald Trump's regime claimed it was an annual physical. Then they claimed it had to do with some of his venous related cardiovascular issues. And then they said, nope, it's actually part of a semi-annual checkup. They've changed the story multiple times. After Donald Trump visited the doctor, Fox pumped out its propaganda machine to say Trump declared in excellent overall health by doctor after Walter Reed visit. Let's just face it. We see the guy every day. We know he's not in excellent overall health. Like, we can physically observe the way he looks, that he can't walk in straight lines, that his ankles or cankles are the size of like basketballs, that his hand is like eroding before our eyes. It looks like it was put in a piranha tank. But I want to go through with you the data, because we are a data-focused network here on all of the red flags that I think exist. Red flag number one, of course, is Fox saying that he's in excellent overall health, and they posted that during the evening hours. Just an interesting timing of when they posted it as well. Then Donald Trump's report was posted by his regime. It's only one page. Now, former President Biden and former President Obama's reports were at least 6 to 7 pages in length. It specifically provided the readouts of the blood work and the various tests. This one doesn't do it at all. Instead, it has a weird line about Donald Trump's cardiac age. A valid measure of cardiovascular vitality via ECG was found to be approximately 14 years younger than his chronological age. He continues to maintain a demanding daily schedule without restriction. And so just a very bizarre thing to even put in a report like this, that his cardiovascular age is 14 years younger than his actual age. Notably absent from this report as well is some of the data that we've known before, specifically the chronic venous insufficiency, what the hell is happening to his hand. Just take a look at the report so we can see it together. And then I'm going to show you some other data points where they've changed the story a number of times about what this even was supposed to be. So over here, you see October 10th, 2025. Donald Trump's treating physician is a DO. I think that's important to note. Sean P. Barabella. And it says subject Donald Trump comprehensive follow-up evaluation. Well, if it's a comprehensive follow-up evaluation, follow-up from what? Follow-up from another physical? Or follow-up from the venous chronic insufficiency? And then why wasn't that message mentioned here? So let's take a look at what it says. It says, Donald Trump successfully completed a scheduled follow-up evaluation today at Walter Reed. What do you mean successfully completed? He showed up to the doctor? Like a streak. He wants an award for going to the doctor. He successfully completed it. The visit was part of an ongoing health maintenance plan and included advanced imaging. Where's the imaging? Laboratory testing. Where's the testing? And preventative health assessments. Where's the assessment? Conducted by multidisciplinary teams of specialists. I get that. You're a DO, and look, I think DOs are great. I've seen a DO before. No offense to the DO. I also want to hear from the multidisciplinary team of specialists with their findings. Not a DO saying he's great. Then it goes on to say these evaluations were performed in coordination with leading academic and medical consultants to ensure optimal cardiovascular health and continued wellness. But he's not continued wellness because previously he was reported to have chronic venous insufficiency. So it's not continued wellness. And then to ensure optimal cardiovascular health, we know it's suboptimal because of a prior diagnosis, which I don't see here. Then it says comprehensive laboratory studies performed in conjunction with the visit were exceptional, including stable metabolic, hematologic, and cardiac parameters. But we already know that's not true. We know he suffers from chronic venous insufficiency, and we see that it's getting worse before our eyes. Anyway, it goes on to say, in preparation for upcoming international travel, Trump also received preventative health screenings and immunizations, including annual influenza and updated COVID-19 booster vaccinations. That's interesting because Donald Trump and RFK Jr. have been saying a lot of lies about vaccinations, but that's an interesting point. Trump continues to demonstrate excellent overall health. Just pause. The prior report was not excellent overall health. It was chronic venous insufficiency with apparent serious chronic and cardiovascular issues. His cardiac age, a validated measure of cardiovascular vitality, was found to be 14 years younger than his chronological age. No, I mean, we see him. We see the guy. I understand that in Trump regime world, you say he has $17 trillion on tariff shelves and that there's no inflation and gas is below $2. And now he's 14 years younger than, no, he's obese. He can't walk in straight lines. His ankles are the size of basketballs. His hand is rotting and he can't complete sentences. That's just an objective reality that we can see. So can we get that data? And again, I'm not mocking it. I'm not making fun. It's just a reality that we can see. Stop acting like this, obese individual's in good shape. This deranged, demented individual who can't speak in sentences. Don't make it sound like he's mentally there. He isn't. So let's just get the real, okay? And it goes on to say, summary. Trump remains in exceptional health, exhibiting strong cardiovascular, pulmonary, neurological, and physical performance. Okay, well, it wasn't overall exceptional, though. You're making that up. Remember, he had an issue that we knew. You're not even going to address the chronic venous insufficiency? So to me, that's one of the main red flags that shows that it's a lie. But let's go through some of the other data, right? October 8th, 2025. This was the statement from the White House. On Friday morning, Trump will visit Walter Reed Medical Center for a planned meeting and remarks with the troops. While there, Trump will stop by for his routine yearly checkup. He will then return to the White House. Trump is considering going to the Middle East shortly thereafter. Okay, well, we previously pointed out that back on April 13th, 2025, that was his annual yearly checkup. So this appears to be a follow-up to his chronic venous insufficiency, because I look at the April 13th report, that same DO, Captain Sean P. Barabella, and it says on April 11th, Donald Trump underwent his annual physical examination at Walter Reed National Medical Center. They claim he weighs 224 pounds. I mean, look, the reality is he probably weighs about 300. Maybe 315, 350, maybe. He doesn't weigh 224 pounds. All right. That's a ridiculous. He's not 6'3", 6'4", 224. Let's stop it. Let's not be stupid about this. Okay. Like, let's have adult, serious conversations. I know the regime is incapable of it, but stop treating us like we're freaking idiots. Okay. But notice here, the subject says Donald Trump's annual physical examination results. Contrast that to what last night's results said. Subject, Donald Trump's comprehensive follow-up evaluation. Okay, and again, follow-up evaluation for what? Now, interestingly here, Donald Trump's former physician and MAGA Republican Congress member, Ronnie Jackson, he let it slip because he claimed what this was really about was a visit for cardiovascular issues, the chronic venous insufficiency. Here's what Ronnie Jackson said. Play this clip.
They took him up there. They were just doing some stuff. They were doing some some follow-up on his venous issue. He had been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. So there was a vascular study that was done. They were just looking at follow-up that was recommended last time he had the annual physical done. That follow-up was being done. He got his vaccines for that he's due right now, especially with some of his upcoming travel. So he got all of his travel vaccines updated. But then Donald Trump said something different. So Trump had to say, okay, it's not for the chronic venous insufficiency, which is clearly what it was for, right? I hate to say that Ronnie Jackson was probably at least telling the truth in terms of what the testing was for, not what the outcome is and not the other things. Jackson lies about basically everything. But so when Donald Trump was asked on Thursday about what he was doing at Walter Reed, he said, I'm doing a sort of semi-annual physical, which I do. I think I'm in great shape, knock on wood. Mentally, I feel very good. I like to check, always be early. It's a lesson for a lot of people. Okay, let's just show you what he said. And again, there's no such thing as a, quote, sort of semi-annual physical. Here, play this clip.
President, I wanted to change gears just really quickly and ask you, you're going to Walter Reed tomorrow? What are you having done? And how are you feeling?
I'm meeting with the troops, and I'm also going to do a sort of semi-annual physical, which I do. And I think I'm in great shape, but I'll let you know. But No, I have no difficulty thus far. Is there wood around here? Knock on. No difficulty. Physically, I feel very good. Mentally, I feel very good. You know, I did about 6-7 months ago. I do physicals. I like to, when I'm around, I like to check always early, always be early. It's a lesson for a lot of people. But I also did a cognitive exam, which is always very risky because if I didn't do well, you'd be the first to be blaring it. And I had a perfect score. And one of the doctors said he's almost never seen a perfect score. I had a perfect score. I got the highest score. And that made me feel good. When they asked, would I like to do one? I said, yeah. I said, did Obama do it? No. Did Bush do it? No. Did Biden do it? I definitely did. Biden wouldn't have gotten the first 3 questions right. No, Biden didn't do it. Biden should have done it. I'm actually a person that believes that if you're president, you should do a cognitive exam. But last time I took a cognitive exam, and it was a perfect score. The doctors announced it. And by the way, not the easiest test. The first few questions are pretty easy. Once you get into the middle, it gets a little trickier. And there aren't a lot of people in this room that would get every single question right, I can guarantee
You're putting me in a difficult spot now.
Let's be honest, most of us are tired, stressed, and dealing with some kind of pain. And what do? We power through because the last thing we want is another prescription. And let's face it, nothing in the medicine cabinet ever actually works. That's why I'm so glad I found a CB Distillery. Their CBD products are helping so many people, myself included, sleep better, feel more relaxed, and ease everyday pain. And the best part, it's made with premium quality natural ingredients. They've got a full range of solutions for stress, sleep, pain after exercise, and even CBD for pets. Their Soothing Relief Balm is a huge customer favorite, and so are their sleep products. My favorite is that Distilled Relief Balm. I've been using it on sore muscles after workouts, and it's given me so much relief. So if you're tired of being tired and stressed, or just want to feel better in your body, check out CBD from CB Distillery. And right now, you can save 25% off your entire purchase. Visit cbdistillery.com and use promo code Meidas. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S, cbdistillery.com. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations.
Now, I do want to also point out that back on April 13, the report by Donald Trump's DO, Sean Barabella, was even more ludicrous than the current report. They said that Trump, this was their summary, Trump remains in excellent health as exhibited by frequent victories at golf events. I mean, frequent victories at golf events, that's not a thing. You can't say that that's exhibiting good health. And we know that he cheats over and over and over again. So what was this yesterday at Walter Reed a follow-up to? Well, you go back to a few months ago when everybody saw, and we still see Donald Trump's hand discolored. We see Donald Trump's ankles that are absolutely gigantic. And we see, a ton of clear issues. But you had Caroline Lyon Levitt. She goes and does this press event where she says the real issue here, it's chronic venous insufficiency. But she says what you're seeing is caused because he shakes so many hands and he takes Advil. Okay, we know it's probably IVs in the hand, and it's probably serious cardiovascular issues. But here, play this clip.
Many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House Medical Unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here.
So none of that made sense. Fox propaganda machine back on July 17th, they had to basically, again, we push the Trump is healthy story. They brought on this guy, Dr. Mark Siegel, who's just an ultra MAGA guy. I've shaken the man's hand. He gives a very vigorous handshake. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. He takes give me my porridge. He gives a very vigorous handshake. I'm not really sure why I did that impression or how I connected that to this Winnie the Pooh. But anyway, here, play this clip.
That's not serious. It's completely benign. It's cosmetic, and it's expected from a man in his late 70s who's standing on his feet all the time. And to your point about shaking hands, her point about shaking hands, Carolyn Levitt says, look, he's on an aspirin. He shakes a lot of hands. I've shaken the man's hand. He gives a very vigorous handshake.
Okay, well, I'll give you kind of a few data points. I'm actually glad that Democrats are calling out Donald Trump's cognitive issues. So we had Governor Pritzker of Illinois. He was on a show called The Daily Blast with my friend Greg Sargent from the New Republic. Greg does a really, really good job. Good reporter, Greg. Take a look right here. What Pritzker said about Donald Trump's dementia. Let's play it.
Well, Governor, the president has called for your arrest. I just want to ask you this pretty bluntly. Do you expect to be arrested soon?
I do not expect to be arrested, and the president of the United States says a lot of crazy things. I genuinely think there is something wrong with him. I wish that his family would intervene because I do think he needs mental health help, and I don't think anybody around him that works for him is going to do that because they're benefiting from his failure of mental health, his dementia. I wish somebody would help out the president of the United States. Meanwhile, he says a lot of crazy things. He doesn't have authority to arrest elected officials or really anybody where you don't have any, example of a crime being committed. And I find it ironic that this guy who's a 34-time convicted felon is saying that I should be jailed. I've never been accused of or convicted of or, gone on trial for anything. He's the guy who's done that so many times and cheated, by the way, in civil court. And this is just, I don't take it seriously. Other than I think the man has so much power at his fingertips because he's president of the United States that the people around him might try to take it upon themselves to just make something up and come after me or Gavin Newsom. I know they've mentioned that they might jail him or the mayor of the city of Chicago.
And you can tell that all week Fox has been very sensitive to Donald Trump's potential dementia. I'm just going to show you. This is Jesse Waters. And then I'll play for you a clip after Jesse Waters of just Donald Trump's recent press conference. I'll give a hat tip to my friends over at Decoding Fox News who put this clip together. Let me show this for you. Let's play it.
So the thing he's calling him demented now, he's saying Trump has dementia. You can't say Trump is a diabolical Nazi who's overthrowing the government and then on the next day call him someone with dementia. You can't be a dictator with dementia. You can't suspend an election and then forget you suspended an election. Trump didn't need note cards to know who Hillary Clinton was. And the guy has the longest memory of anybody. He remembers every slight, every name, every statistic. The man is a lot of things. He does not have dementia.
The Potomac River, the beautiful Potomac River, that means lots of water. And the water is right under the building. And they decide to build a basement under the building in the Potomac River. So in order to do that, you need the biggest pumps that God ever created. And they were pumping their hearts out. But as big as those pumps are, you can't pump it fast enough because it's the Potomac River. If the pump were bigger than this room, you couldn't pump it. But they tried, and they've been building a basement. And I said, why did you want to build a basement? I thought it would be a good idea, sir. A basement is the least valuable floor in a building. I know a lot about real estate. The least valuable thing is the basement. And you don't build a basement under a building that is 2 feet above the river that's right next door. You know, it's right near the river. People don't realize the river's right out their window. And that's the beginning. They did just a terrible job. Instead of, I could take a ceiling like this, they'd rip out the ceiling because they see a crack. Let's rip out the ceiling. And I would fix the crack and I would paint the ceiling. And under the ceiling, they put the most incredible protective material. They go out by 3/4 inch, brand new, gorgeous 3/4 inch plywood and sheetrock, hardened sheetrock. And they had it all over the building. So if a little piece of flake came down, but the problem is when they took the ceiling down and it would hit, they spent millions of dollars on protective material that you didn't have to spend anything.
So you clearly see Trump changing stories. I dissected to you how that report makes zero sense. He had chronic venous insufficiency, so he was never in excellent cardiovascular, shape. Quite the contrary. This leads me to believe actually that the issues are much, much more serious. Is it kidney issues? Is it liver issues? Is it mini strokes? Is it serious cardiovascular issues? What's going on? I think it could be all of the above. I've spoken to a lot of medical professionals who, they can't diagnose him without actually seeing him, but they say he's in rough shape, it appears. But we see it. I mean, we don't have to be a medical doctor to look at the guy and say that's not a fit individual. That's not a healthy individual. That's not someone who's able to put thoughts together in a logical order. Come on. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.